In the golden stillness of early dawn, a lioness emerged from the tall grass of the African savanna. Her movements were slow and deliberate, not with the quiet caution of a predator, but with the heavy steps of desperation. Between her powerful jaws, she carried a lion cub. Limp small, barely breathing, blood soaked one shoulder and stained her golden fur. But her expression held no rage and posed no threat. She was not here to stalk. She was not here to defend territory. She was here for something else entirely. She moved across the low green grass, past the scattered shadows of acacia trees. Her eyes locked on a wooden cabin standing alone in the wilderness, and on the man who stood silently in its doorway. Ranger Alex watched her approach, heart pounding behind his ribs.
Oh my goodness!
His instincts screamed for him to retreat. His training warned him of boundaries. Every part of him wanted to back away. This moment did not belong to logic. A full-grown lioness should never come this close. And yet she kept coming, not with speed, but with purpose. Then she stopped just shy of the step. Her breath was slow, controlled. She lowered her head and set the cub gently down on the wooden threshold. Alex stood frozen. The cub was still. Its chest barely rose. One small paw twitched weakly. The wound on his shoulder was fresh, still weeping blood. The lioness looked up. Her amber eyes met his. Not with aggression, but with something softer. A silent plea. A question only the desperate could ask. Help him. Alex felt everything inside him go to war. This was not just wildlife. This was something ancient, something deeper, something primal. His muscles tensed, but he stepped forward slowly. The lioness did not move, but her body braced, ready to decide in a heartbeat whether he was savior or threat. He knelt beside the cub. The injury was severe. A gash tore across the shoulder, clean but deep. Blood had soaked into the fur and pooled on the wood. Alex moved gently, wrapping the cub in his thick ranger jacket. He murmured softly, not in words the lioness would understand, but in rhythms, intent, comfort. He turned and carried the tiny, fragile body inside. The lioness remained outside, unmoving. She lowered herself onto the step and placed her head where the cub had been. She did not follow, but her gaze never left him. A golden statue, holding a vigil that refused to end. Inside the cabin, Alex worked with calm urgency. The rustic space had never been meant for something like this, but it would have to do. He cleared the table, laid the cub down, and inspected the wound more closely. It was deep but clean, likely caused by claws, not teeth. His mind raced through possibilities, then landed on the most likely. The cub had been attacked by a dominant male lion, a brutal reality of territorial survival. He cleaned the wound with what little disinfectant he had. He stitched it with trembling hands. He injected a small dose of antibiotics. He wrapped the cub and placed it near the heater to keep it warm. Every move was careful. Every breath the cub took felt like a thread stretching against time. Outside, he could still feel the lioness. Her presence pressed through the cabin walls, a silent force heavier than sound. That night, time moved strangely. The wind hissed through the cracks. The cub's breathing was faint, ragged. The stitches held, but nothing was guaranteed. Not here, not like this. Alex sat beside the small bundle of fur. His hand rested lightly on his chest, counting each shallow breath, one by one. He whispered to the fire, to the cub, to himself, just make it through the night. Outside, the lioness never moved. The moon rose and fell. Still she waited, a mother, a guardian of shadows, clinging to a faith she was never taught to trust. At first light, the cub stirred, a twitch, a steady breath. Alex leaned in and finally exhaled. The first battle had been won. With the cub stable enough to move, Alex knew he had to act quickly. The nearest veterinary station was over an hour away on rough roads. He patted a crate with cloth, gently placed the cub inside, and lifted it into his arms. He stepped onto the porch. The lioness stood. A low growl rumbled from her throat. Not a threat, a warning, the kind of sound only a mother makes when her child is about to be taken. Alex kept his tone low and even. "I'm helping you." He didn't raise his hands. He didn't look at her. He loaded the crate into the back of the Jeep and started the engine. She followed, not in a charge, not from a distance. She moved just behind the vehicle, watching every bump, every jolt, always close enough to become a shadow made real. This was not pursuit. This was trust. At the veterinary station, the team rushed into action. Dr. Anna led them, her eyes wide as she saw the lioness waiting silently outside. The cub was taken in. X-rays confirmed what Alex had feared. The shoulder was fractured, badly. Surgery was the only option. 2 hours passed. Alex paced the floor. Then finally, Dr. Anna returned with a tired smile.
He's gonna live.
"The cub will live," she said. The surgery went well. That evening, Alex drove back to the cabin. He kept checking the mirrors, but the lioness was gone. The next morning, with the cub resting peacefully and groggy from recovery, Alex returned to the wooden steps. He laid the small form exactly where its mother had first left it, and he waited, hoping for a rustle, a shadow, a roar, but she never came. And then he understood. She had done what she came to do. So had he. She had trusted him with everything, and now her part was over. Her absence was not abandonment. It was her final act of faith. Weeks passed. The cub grew stronger each day. He played, explored, healed. His limp faded. His spirit returned. And one day, without sound or ceremony, he walked into the tall grass and vanished into the wild. Alex stood there long after he was gone. It felt like the end of a story no one else would ever believe. But the wild was not done with him. Months later, on a routine patrol in a stretch of savanna far from any post, Alex's Jeep sputtered and died. The ignition failed. The radio was dead. No signal, no backup. He stepped out into a landscape that felt too still. No breeze, no birdsong. Then from the brush came a sound, laughter, but not human. Hyenas, a clan. Fast, lean, coordinated. Eyes that glowed with hunger. They emerged in a crescent, forming a silent net that closed in around him. Alex dove back into the Jeep just as claws scraped metal. Teeth snapped at the window. He was surrounded, trapped, alone. Then a sound deeper than thunder rolled across the grass. A roar so powerful it stopped the air. The hyenas froze. From the trees came two figures. One was a lioness. Her presence was powerful, familiar. The other was a young male, his mane just beginning to crown his neck. They charged. The hyenas scattered. Some fled. Some snapped in panic. The lioness moved with deadly grace. The young male stood firm. His roar split the sky and stood as a wall between Alex and death. Alex watched from behind cracked glass, his eyes wide. The lioness had a torn ear. It was her. And beside her, the cub, grown, strong, fearless. They did not approach. They did not need to. They stood guard until the hyenas were gone. And then they waited, facing the direction the threat had fled. Not random, not instinct. Choice. You saved mine. Now we guard yours. 10 minutes later, backup arrived. A dust trail climbed over the distant hill. Alex's team, coming fast but late. The lions looked back once, then turned, and vanished into the tall grass. No sound, no fanfare, only honor. Alex stepped out of the Jeep. His legs shook, not from fear, from something deeper. He told the others what had happened. No one believed it. They saw an empty savanna. He had seen a promise kept. Because in the wild, there are no contracts, no signatures, no laws, only trust. And sometimes, if we are lucky, a bond that echoes across time, not forged in dominance, but in compassion, not maintained by fear, but by loyalty. Alex never forgot that morning, and he never forgot the look in her eyes the first time she asked him for help.